Hello everyone, welcome to the Policy Panchayat. Today I have the pleasure to host Mr. Aditya Madan, Public Policy Consultant to the Punjab Education Minister. Apart from that, he has been a Punjab Good Governance Fellow and Assistant Consultant, Economic Advisory Council to the Prime Minister of India. So Aditya, tell us more about yourself and your career journey so far. Walk us through how you discovered public policy as a career, because I remember that you are an engineer by degree.
Hello everyone, myself Aditya. So, when I was studying engineering, also I used to, engage in a lot of co-curricular activities. I was a Boy Scout. I got a chance to represent my country in the first International Scouts Peace Camp. I was sent to Indonesia. We kind of wrote a peace declaration there, which was signed by almost 100 countries. And then I used to do theater, street plays, and so I had this bent of mind that I wanted to do something for the society to bring about some change. So that's how initially this thing came up, that okay, I would want to work in public policy. I mean, when I was in engineering, I did not even know about the sector, that something like this existed, like many of us. But I mean, today, because there are so many fellowships and programs, so the opportunities are much more. Back in the time, there were hardly any fellowships, and so yeah. So when I was doing engineering, I did not kind of like it, because it was all about rote learning, and I didn't want to get an IT job, a regular TCS or a Wipro job. So I chose not to sit for any placements. So there was an opportunity with Confederation of Indian Industry, and so they had a JV with the Ministry of External Affairs. Initially, it was Ministry of Overseas Indian Affairs, basically. So I started working for OIFC, which is Overseas Indian Facilitation Center, something for the प्रवासी भारतीय जो लोग हैं उनके लिए. So we kind of ran a program which was called India Corporate Internship Program, wherein we invited second and third generation Indians to come to India and work with CXO level people, officers. So, for example, there were people from Harvard and Cambridge and all the big business schools coming to India and working with CEO of Godrej, Microsoft. We had Tata also. So it was a great program. I remember working with Mrs. Sushma Swaraj, and Miss Vani Rao, who's now she's an IFS officer. She's now posted in the US. So I mean, that was a great exposure starting off for a young kid. I would say I was just out of college, and I got this opportunity, and thanks to my then managers also, who gave me such exposure, believed in me, and I kind of led the marketing for this program. I used to do so this kind of calls I used to do with ambassadors of different countries, Indian ambassadors in different countries, student councils of Ivy League colleges. So that was a great stepping stone, I would say. So from there, after I joined CII formally, and I worked in different sectors. I worked in agriculture, higher education, medical technology, food processing. So I worked very closely with the Union Cabinet Minister for Food Processing Technologies, Mrs. Harsimrat Kaur Badal back then. And we kind of conceptualized and organized the World Food India, which is now an annual show which is happening in India. So that was the first edition, and we kind of worked day in, day out very closely with the minister. I used to handle media, PR, and investor relations. So we did a lot of roundtables and road shows, inviting different delegations. I remember at one of the delegations from New Zealand, I met Brendan McCallum so he was a part of the delegation. So New Zealand has big dairy industry. So they had a delegation coming in, and so the ambassador invited McCallum. So he was he was playing IPL for Kolkata Knight Riders back in the day. So I was like, wow, that's a great opportunity. Perks of working in the public policy sector. So yeah, I mean, so I was part of the team which organized the CEO's roundtable for the Prime Minister. So we had prime ministers and presidents of 20 countries participating in the first edition, and CEOs of various big brands like Lactalis and Danone and various food processing companies like Cargill. So that was a great experience. So post that, I wanted to, of course, since I was young, I wanted to challenge myself, look for new opportunities. So I got an opportunity to work with FIFA. So I was also learning foreign languages. So I did learn some basic Spanish, but I did complete my German. So because of that, I got this opportunity to be the team liaison officer for the German national football team during the Under 17 World Cup in 2017. So I mean, that was an amazing experience working with the national team. I mean, under 17, but I mean, the kind of professionalism these guys have is amazing. And I mean, I've been a footballer myself. I've never seen such things happening even with the senior team. Yeah, so I mean, I worked with them during the World Cup, and we kind of reached the quarterfinals and lost. So that, I mean, that also gave me the opportunity to travel across the country with the team. I mean, so we went to Goa, we went to Kochi, we went to the, I mean, the biggest stadium, Yuva Bharati Kridangan in Kolkata. That was such an experience. 80,000 people cheering for Brazil because Bengalis love Brazil more than Germany. Yeah. Suppose that I worked for the Sports Authority of India. So Khelo India scheme had just been launched. So Khelo India school games were organized in January 2018. So because of, I don't know, me being able to speak Punjabi, so they made me the state liaison officer for Punjab. So again, I mean, I was handling the entire Punjab contingent. I was looking at logistics, accommodation, and media and PR, and and that back in the day, Bhagwant Manji used to be an MP from Sangrur.
Yes.
So I remember, so boys team was playing the finals of hockey in Major Dhyanchand Stadium. So I invited him, and he came and sat for the entire duration of the match. I still have that photograph, and he said that I would love to come and see Punjab key games more often. So I mean, just a memory. So nobody even thought that he would become the CM, and
Mhm.
so in one of the meetings, I kind of presented that picture to him, and he was very happy. Yeah. So after Sai, I worked with Tara Trusts and Ministry of Women and Child Development. So they jointly launched a fellowship, which was called the Swasth Bharat Preraks Program, which was for Poshan Abhiyan, the National Nutrition Mission. So I was given the opportunity of going to Punjab and working in an aspirational district. But I mean, somehow the director wanted me to work in some other district. So I chose Mansa, which is now famous for Sidhu Moosewala.
Yeah.
Yeah. So back in the day, he was just, a new singer. So I kind of used to meet him pretty often as well. So I went to Mansa, stayed there for 2 years. It was a completely new experience for me because somebody who's grown up in Delhi goes to a very rural place. I mean, if you ask somebody in Punjab and you tell them that you have worked in Mansa, they'll be amazed. They'll be like, "Aapko aur koi jagah nahi mili." I mean, why did you go to Mansa? Nobody goes there. But I mean, I loved it. I stayed in the Maddi. I had such wonderful people around me. They're very passionate. I mean, the best staff in Punjab somehow is in that district, and people are very passionate, and they're very sincere. So, and I had a very good deputy commissioner, Mrs. Apneet Riyad, and she gave me a lot of freedom to work and implement my ideas, and it's because of her also, that I grew in confidence and I was able to do things. So we got 2 national awards consecutively. I got an individual award as well. So heads were turning that okay, there's something happening in Mansa. So malnourishment was our big challenge. I mean, when you think of Punjab, you think of a state where there's a lot of food and there's no poverty.
Right.
But still, I mean, uh, 35% malnutrition in the state and 50% anemia. I mean, it's baffling. So, I mean, I was able to kind of bring down. So, I remember at one of the anemia screening camps. So, I thought that, generally these camps just happen and nobody knows about it. So, I thought that let's organize anemia screening camps in public places. bus stops and colleges and railway station. So in the first camp in a girls' college, I invited the deputy commissioner also, and I said, "Ma'am, please come and inaugurate it." So she was kind enough to come, and she said, "Okay, I will also get my anemia checked." And that is the first time she got it checked, and she was anemic, and
Oh,
she didn't even know. So I mean, some things, you remember. I mean, the good things you do.
yeah.
So that kind of made a lot of news, and uh, a lot of women came forward and got themselves checked. So because they thought that, okay, this is a good thing that we have to find out about our health. And I also launched a waste management program, which is also going on till date. And last year, the government of India kind of awarded us for that, a PM Swachhta Sarathi Fellowship.
Mhm.
So, I mean, there used to be a lot of waste in the city, and I thought that let's do something about it. So we started doing this source segregation, and everywhere you see there are MRF sheds. But till date, Mansa is probably the only ULB where the MRF sheds are functional. I mean, there is 70% source segregation happening. I mean, if you ask PMIDC, they will say 100% source segregation is happening in Punjab. But it's on paper. I mean, we also know that how much waste we segregate. I mean, in Delhi, I know my parents just have one dustbin. I mean, sadly, because even if we segregate at source, I mean, the guy who's coming to collect it would put it in just one container and take it away.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, that's one program that we started, and it's, I mean, behavioral change is something which was very challenging, both in the National Nutrition Mission and this waste management program. And I kind of learned techniques and ways of how to deal with people.
Mm.
So when you're working on the ground, you realize that you know I mean, challenge in one district could be different from challenge in another district. It could vary from one village to another. It could be a social issue. At times I had to tell people ki, if you're throwing out your chapatis and in the on the road in a polythene, and the cow is eating, aapko paap lag raha hai. So kind of connecting religion to motivate people to keep their uh, their streets clean.
Yeah. I mean, great.
So
Behavioral change is a very big problem and challenge
yeah,
in implementing policy. Yeah.
yes,
So that's
yes.
something
So
which
yeah, I mean,
is very commendably.
yeah, thank you. So post that, I then COVID happened, and I kind of came back to Delhi and prepared for civil services for a bit because nothing was happening. Then I joined the Economic Advisory Council to the Prime Minister. I
Mm.
worked on two papers there, one on farm laws and the other on insolvency and bankruptcy code. That was a great learning experience as well. So my paper on insolvency bankruptcy code was later sent to the PMO, and then amendments were made to the law. And so kind of feel proud about it that whatever we wrote is now a law.
Right.
Yeah, and post that, I took a short break and then joined the Punjab Good Governance Fellowship, and I was posted in Hoshiarpur, where I again worked on various development initiatives. I kind of did the ecotourism project there, which is pretty famous now. And I mean, a lot of so I was also the COVID. So the COVID was still going, but I mean, it was wavering off. There were different waves coming in. So I was also in charge of ensuring there's ample oxygen supply in the district. And so, I mean, I worked a lot on education also when I was there. So we had funds to do some development activities. So I went to the local MLA, who's also a minister, and I said, "Sir, I need some money." So I went with a presentation, and I said, "Sir, there's no library in the district." So he said, "Okay, I'll give you 3 CR after seeing the presentation."
Mm.
And probably the best digital library in Punjab is in Hoshiarpur now, and I'm glad it's running. And again, so I also asked money to do STEM labs in schools.
Mhm.
So Hoshiarpur is probably the only district in the country to have 100 government schools with STEM labs. And I mean, functional STEM labs, not that just it's been there and
Mm.
people are using it, kids. I yesterday only I got some data that the results in science and maths have improved since the labs have been installed, and the general scientific temperament is getting better. So that's something I'm I can say proud of. So 1 year in Hoshiarpur as a governance district development fellow, then I was transferred to work with the Minister of Governance Reforms, and he had multiple charges:
Mhm.
governance reforms and science, technology, environment, sports and youth affairs, printing and stationery, water resources, mining. So I kind of worked with him on different policy issues, with the Punjab Pollution Control Board also, with the Science and Technology Council. I work with them big time now, promoting grassroots innovation. So there's a program called GRIP, wherein so there's a lot of jugaad happening in India. So this council is trying to kind of formalize the jugaad. So we go to colleges and ITIs and villages and tell people, "Ki, if you have a jugaad, come to us. We'll give you grant. We'll also take you to some incubators and angel investors, and we'll try to formalize your jugaad." So this program we launched while I was working with the Science and Technology Minister, and now it's in the second year and it's going good. And we also launched a program called She, which is for women entrepreneurs. So we kind of invited entrepreneurs in Punjab, women entrepreneurs, to come forward and pitch their ideas.
Mhm.
So again, we gave them seed money to kind of take their startups forward. And biggest contribution working with him was working on the sports policy. And I was thankful to the minister and his OSD Karamveer Barad, kind of nominated me to be a part of uh, the committee which made the sports policy. So we had many secretaries changing in, but finally, when Sarabjit sir came in, and Anand sir, who was the special secretary, so we kind of did a lot of work, and I used to do the homework, do the research, and make a draft and go to the special chief secretary, and we could discuss. And I mean, I'm fortunate enough that I had such good officers to work with, and such nice young minister who kind of wanted to listen to ideas, and gave me that space that I could go and discuss new things with him, even the OSD. So I mean, so Punjab's sports policy is probably the best in India. So one example I would like to quote for special children.
Mhm.
There's something called Special Olympics.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you win a gold medal in the Olympics, you get X amount of money. But if you win a gold medal in the Special Olympics, you get the same X amount of money. And Punjab is the only state to do that. That we recognize, the talent of people who are differently abled, who are specially abled. So I mean, kudos to the government also, who kind of agreed, and the CM who said, okay, this should be done. And another thing which I did while working with the sports minister was the sports code. So basically, we see that a lot of problems happen with the associations. So we saw all the wrestlers kind of sitting on the
The
dharna at Jantar Mantar, and the wrestling federation is in a mess. So it's all because the elections have not happened, and the same politicians have been there. So to kind of clear up that mess in Punjab, at least, we kind of wanted to bring about a legislation wherein we're saying, now it's on in the public domain. We are inviting suggestions. We are trying to say that it's only the sports persons should be able to contest the elections and also vote for the office bearers.
right.
So, for example, if I'm a district level footballer, I should be able to vote who will be the district secretary of the district football association, and
Right.
politicians should kind of stay away. So, this is something very revolutionary. Soon it'll be enacted, and I'm sure a lot of mess will start cleaning, and other states will also, kind of follow suit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, while working on sports, I also got a lot of opportunity to meet a lot of sports persons, coaches, understand the perspective, grassroots. I mean, I worked on a lot of grassroots initiatives as well with different organizations, NGOs. So, I mean, fortunately, there's a good culture of sports in Punjab. There's a girl from Hoshiarpur only. She's in the Indian national team, football team. She's the first, footballer to score in the UEFA Champions League. I mean, big thing. Yeah, Manisha Kalyan. Recently, last month, Indian badminton women's team won the Asian Badminton Championships. So another, I kind of have played with her also, Tanvi Sharma. She is from Hoshiarpur, very young girl, big achievement. So good talent is there. So I kind of also forged partnerships. I mean, that's something, kind of a forte when you're working in the public policy domain. It's all about, connecting people. So I was in Hyderabad one time for a personal visit, and I thought that okay, I should go and visit some badminton academies. So I called up a couple of them, and fortunately, Jwala Gatta's father kind of connected, and he said, "Come and visit us." So next morning, I took a cab and went to his academy. He showed me around, and wonderful. I mean, very simple but beautifully done academy, residential academy. And we all know that Jwala Gatta is a former badminton champion.
Right.
Yeah, so she's also coaching there. And Mohammad Arif is the coach of the Indian team, former coach. He is the chief coach at the academy. So I was like, kids from Punjab, kids from Mansa, for example. So I used to play badminton in Nehru College, Mansa, when I was there because I had nothing else to do in the evening. There was no cinema, there was no coffee shop. The only thing which was there was sports. So if all the officers would kind of gather in the evening and play badminton. So one day I met some kids. They were, he said that I'm playing for the Punjab team. But I mean, so when I was in the academy in Hyderabad, it struck me that, what kind of exposure does this guy sitting in Mansa have? Or, the kids here? There's a huge difference.
Right.
So I told them that, could we do a summer camp? They were like, yes. I went back, met the minister, met the secretary, told them, sir, I went there and, they have agreed to host our kids. Like, let's do this. So we selected top 50 kids from Punjab, sent them to the academy in Hyderabad for a month for a residential summer training camp. And I mean, the results are there for everybody to see. Then we also did this new initiative called Kheda Matan Punjab Diyan, which was the brainchild of the minister and CM, wherein we said that everybody should play. So we organized Pan Punjab games and different age groups. So 14, 17, 19. Plus we also had under 25 and under 40 and senior citizens. So in the first edition only, more than 3 lakh people participated. I mean, that's like 10% of, 1% of the, so my maths is not good. So 3 crore is the population of Punjab. So 3 lakh people participating. Yeah. So that's a big number. Right. Yeah. So we had, people 40s and 50s playing volleyball, and we had also young kids coming out and playing, doing roller skates and different sports. So, I mean, great initiative, I would say. So, yeah, I mean, after that, I kind of quit the fellowship, and have since then I've been working with the Minister of Education. So, I mean, very interestingly, I met him, the Education Minister. So his OSD, Mr. Dapinder Singh, invited me over and said that, okay, come work with us. And so he made me meet the minister. Minister said that, okay, I'm expanding my team, and he must have kind of seen my work and, from his sources known that the kind of work I've been doing. So he said, okay, come work with me and, work in my team. So the very first day I was sitting there with him, and, an idea struck me that ISRO is launching Chandrayaan soon. So I told him, sir, why don't we take some school kids and go and see Chandrayaan launch? And that was just 1 week away. I mean, I'm crazy. I come up with crazy ideas, but somehow people kind of, I'm fortunate enough that I meet good people. So he said, yes, let's do this. And he called up the Secretary of Education and was like, we have to do this. So we kind of, so purely on merit, we selected the toppers from the previous year, people who had scored the highest marks, government school kids, basically from the schools of eminence.
Mhm.
And we flew down to Sriharikota and we kind of witnessed the Chandrayaan launch. And Punjab was the only state in the country to get government school kids to witness the launch. There were many kids, like private schools had huge contingents, but we were the only state with government kids, school kids there. And the minister stayed in the same hotel next door to all the students and teachers.
Mhm.
I mean, the kind of impact that this has on children is huge. I
Yeah.
mean, for me also, it is once in a lifetime kind of an opportunity that
Mm.
we had tears in our eyes. The entire country was cheering, and such a proud moment for all Indians. And these kids will always remember this for the rest of their lives. That you know somebody kind of gave this idea and somebody agreed, and we were taken to witness the launch.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so that's been my journey so far, from engineering to public policy.
So basically, the curiosity took you here in public policy, and then it was just rest is history. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So one thing leads to another, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. So, as you told that you were also a Punjab Good Governance Fellow, so can you share your experience? How was it like, and what was the objective of about this fellowship, and what were your day-to-day tasks, responsibilities, and the outcome of this fellowship?
So fortunately, I had the opportunity of working both in the state and the district. So I joined as a district development fellow in Hoshiarpur, and I had worked with the deputy commissioner very closely. So I mean, when you're working in the district, it's about how you are able to implement various schemes of the government efficiently in the district.
Hmm.
So, for example, I had the opportunity of organizing a crafts bazaar, which is an initiative of the Development Commissioner Handicraft, Government of India. So
Hmm.
we were allotted to organize a handicrafts fair, and my DC, because there were elections coming up, so she said, and I was kind of adamant that I want to do this because Hoshiarpur is known for its wood inlay, and we are also trying to get a GI tag done for it. So the process is ongoing. So I was like, let's do this. So we kind of invited uh, artisans from, I think, more than 20 states and UTs in the country, and 100 artists of various national awardees, state awardees, and we were able to do this. So I mean, this is one thing. So for example, I mentioned ecotourism earlier. So because my topography uh, is like, Hoshiarpur is very close to Himachal, and
Hmm.
there are some small dams there. A lot of scope for ecotourism. A lot of people would come and just go to the wild, make drink a beer or so, and go back. But there's no opportunity to go do a hike, or do a family picnic or things like that. I mean, the things we kind of see in the movies, that there's a ecotourism lodge and people are going there and staying. But now there are two, one at Thana Dam, one at Johar Dam, and the booking is kind of almost full, and the panchayat is earning money from that.
Hmm.
So it is a joint initiative of the Forest Department, Panchayati Raj, and the district administration, wherein we kind of made ecotourism huts and we did some adventure activities. And now, the Panchayat has people working there, so they're getting employment. So we got them trained also in, hospitality, food and beverage, adventure sports. Plus, we got this infrastructure there. So win-win situation. People are also loving it. You can book it online. So this is one thing I kind of work. Then elections. I mean, it's a great learning exercise. Indian elections, be it the Vidhan Sabha or the Lok Sabha elections. It's a great HR exercise. How the entire government machinery comes together, and everybody has some job assigned. Everybody, I don't know, miraculously just does the job, and elections happen. But watching it very closely, because the deputy commissioner is the returning officer, and the in charge of the district elections, and then there are observers coming in from the Election Commission of India for expenditure, for police, for different domains, and then there are constituencies. So for example, in that movie Newton, you see that that election party goes to a village just to get votes done by a handful of people.
Right.
So we had a similar thing happening here, that there's a village in Hoshiarpur that were just two voters, and it's in the forest area. But we did set up a polling booth there so that people who were there as registered voters could vote. And but the phones would not work. So only satellite phone would work there. So imagine, I mean, such things you kind of only get to experience when you're working very closely with the government. You
Right.
know, then you also get to witness, for example, what a civil surgeon is doing, what is his duty, how is the police machinery working in the district, how is the agriculture department implementing different schemes, what is the horticulture department doing. I mean, there are a number of departments in the government which we generally even don't know of. And particularly for people like me who are from Delhi, I mean, we don't even know who the DM is, because Delhi is a UT. So we only know who the police commissioner is, or the MCD people, right? Because we don't even kind of have any work to do with our MLA or the DM here.
Mm.
So that is kind of an enriching experience to go out in the field, work with various officials. So for example, uh, burning of the crop residue,
Right.
parali is a big issue.
Initial issue.
So
Yes.
I was like, because plus then Hoshiarpur is known for its jaggery. I mean, one of the most successful cooperative societies of Punjab is in Hoshiarpur. They are making amla candies and apple cider vinegar and honey, and Dabur and Jandu are buying from them. So they're doing white labeling for such big brands. Imagine.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a successful model, and now they are expanded to 5 different states. So I went there, I kind of studied their model, and trying to get more farmers to work with them. That's something. So coming back to crop residue, parali. So
Mm.
every year when the pollution happens, people are like, oh, Punjab is burning and Haryana is burning and Delhi is getting polluted. So it's like, why don't we invite the farmers and hear it from the horse's mouth that why are they burning it? And even if they are not burning it, why are they not burning it? So I, along with the agriculture officers, invited 100 farmers to do a roundtable with the DC.
Mm.
So 100 farmers, different people, on in the conference room, deputy commissioner, chief agriculture officer, me, and open mic. We want to just know from you, why are you burning? Why are you not burning? What can the government do? What are the policies? Do you not get the machinery? And amazing, inputs that, some farmers 80 years old sharing their experiences, some young farmers saying that, okay, we are using the baling machine.
Mm.
Then somebody telling us that, the machinery is in short supply, the
Yeah.
app doesn't work.
Mm.
There's an app where you can book your machinery, but it doesn't work. Then there are some, you know, on the field issues that you cannot probably get the machine for a longer duration. So I mean, various. So we in this meeting we even invited the industry. So we invited people who are doing paper, and we invited people who are doing starch. So there's a lot of cropping of maki,
Mm.
basically. So for from that, starch is being made.
Mm.
So trying to motivate farmers to shift towards growing this rather than rice and wheat. So, and making them meet the industry people right there, so that okay, so we asked the industry guy, if this guy is gonna growing next year, how much are you gonna pay,
Mm.
so that it's on record,
Right.
right? And then the farmers also get some confidence that, okay, the administration is kind of thinking about them, and trying to find a solution, asking them. Generally what happens is policies are being made sitting in Delhi, Chandigarh, the capitals, where people don't even go to the field and try to understand the issues. So I mean, I kind of used that opportunity because of my DM, and she was very supportive, that I could do things like this, innovations like this.
Rather than from a top to bottom approach, he went from bottom to top.
Yeah,
So that really helped
exactly.
carving out a
Yeah.
policy.
So that helped me, because after working in the district, I was transferred to work in the state, and
Mm.
then I already knew when I was working with the sports minister what are the challenges. So
Right.
Mailpur and Hoshiarpur is the nursery of football in Punjab.
Mm.
Two Arjuna awardees. There used to be a time that, if you name football in Punjab, people would say, "Are you from Malpur?" Even now, some people in the Indian team are playing from there, and there's a great culture of football there. So I kind of went there, met the people, understood what are the issues. So I mean, such a huge academy had just one coach until a few months back.
Mm.
So I had to kind of push for it, that we need more coaches there. So when I was making the policy again, I had already met people working in the field. I had met coaches. I had met youngsters. So that helped me. Well, and those connections which you build while working in the district,
Mm.
because the perspective that helps. So,
Yeah.
for example, if you're stuck somewhere writing a draft policy, you can always call up people in the district and take their views, discuss with them, trying to understand that how what will be the impact, how should we go about it, things
Mm.
like this.
Right. So,
So this fellowship, I would say that it's you know for somebody who's wanting to step into public policy as a career is a great opportunity, when where you get the access to work with the government very closely, either in the district or in the state, and it opens up your mind. And people, even if you're planning to, let's say, do a UPSC or a PCS later on, I mean, it will help you in answer writing for sure, because you know s- just sitting in Rajendra Nagar and thinking that this is happening. I mean, even if not in answer writing, maybe in your service it will help you,
yeah,
because you would have already done some you know work in the field, rather than just being an ACUT later. You would have done that ACUT ship already, and then you go to the academy and you're like, listen, I already know this. So that kind of a thing.
it actually helps make perspective because
Exactly.
even during my preparation time, I used to rely on the editorials written in the Hindu or the Indian
Yeah.
Express. So you never know
Yeah.
what actually will work in the real domain and whatnot. So yeah,
Exactly.
this fellowship really will help people to get to know about what exactly challenges are and how it should be tailored according to the different challenges, right?
Yes.
So now that you're working with the government directly, how is it? I mean, is there any difference from your fellowship so far? And I mean, like in the if we talk about the autonomy and the challenges, how is it different from fellowship and now in government?
So I was earlier also working with the government only. I mean, the fellowship is, I
Limitations,
mean,
working domain.
yeah. So I mean, different minister, different field, and different work atmosphere, different
Mm.
approach to work. So of course, I mean, everybody has a different style of working, but I've enjoyed both the places, I would say. And here, I mean, because education in Punjab is priority for the government,
Mm.
so I'm able to do much more. And not just school education, we also have higher and technical education. So we're trying to do some programs with ITIs and polytechnics.
Mhm.
Since I've learned German, as I mentioned, I know that the ITI and polytechnic culture in Germany is very strong.
Mm.
Like people who are directly, uh, interning in companies like BMW and Audi in their headquarters.
Mm.
So we don't have that industry kind of a thing here. So I'm trying to build that, and asking industries to come on board, and things like that. Plus, in the higher education space, a lot of students, as we know from Punjab, are going abroad.
Mm.
So trying to understand from the students going to colleges that what makes them go abroad. Of course, financial, they're able to get better jobs or make more money there, and they're able to settle outside is something. But there are some people who feel that education is not as good here as probably in a XYZ country. So that, at least we can change that. So, and also I'm working on getting new institutions uh, to Punjab. For example, I'm trying to get NID, National Institute of Design to Punjab. You see, there's no wedding in India where people don't play Punjabi music, and
Right.
and you know the and the Punjabi attire is so famous, and it's so beautiful, elegant. But we do not have an NID here, so I'm trying to kind of get that. And again, Punjabi cinema, you see, it's all over, and
Indeed.
Diljit Dosanjh was there at Mr. Amani's
Yeah. Jamnagar.
uh, yeah, Jamnagar. So that's music industry and cinema industry is a big thing here, but we do not have an FTI here. There's
Mm,
an FTI in Rohtak, there's an FTI in Pune,
mm,
there's FTI in Kolkata, but there's no FTI in Punjab. So we're trying to kind of uh, get an FTI sanctioned
mhm.
for Punjab, because I mean, I meet a lot of producers and directors recently, and they say that when they have to produce movies and videos, they have to get even a cameraman or a spot boy or a lighting technician from Mumbai, all the way from Mumbai. I mean, we have people here who are unemployed, who are trying to find jobs,
Mhm, mhm,
but they don't have the skill.
mm.
So if there was an institute which was giving them the skill, why would these people spend so much money on calling people from all over from Mumbai? So
Right.
there's something which I'm trying to do, and I'm also trying to work on a program called Football for Schools, which is launched by FIFA.
Mm,
So luckily, I was able to get it launched in Punjab, and the president of All India Football Federation, Kalyan Chaube, and the then Secretary General Shaji Prabhakaran, they came down and we kind of launched it with the Education Minister.
mhm.
So we are trying to take grassroots football to 1,000 different schools in Punjab, and so we're just waiting for footballs to come, and
Right.
also working on grassroots infrastructure development in
Mm,
schools on for sports. So we recently did a SOE, School of Eminence in Ludhiana,
mm,
and it is the first government school to have a swimming pool, and like not just a very desi swimming pool, but like
mm,
a proper swimming pool with jump pads and
mhm.
everything, filtration. So something new for the government schools, and to introduce new sports for to the kids.
Mm.
I mean, as I mentioned earlier, and we all know that there's huge potential in the state, but
Right.
it's probably untapped, and the opportunity is not there, and the infra is not there.
Mm.
So yeah,
So, as you mentioned that you also prepared for civil services, UPSC,
yes.
civil service examination. So, can public policy be a plan B for UPSC aspirants? Because I myself was a UPSC aspirant and I also tried my hands in public policy. So, let's say if a person wants to get into this particular stream, how can one venture into it? What are the prerequisites? What all education, degree wise, or some kind of course one should do to get into this particular place?
I mean, I started engineering and I landed up in public policy, so it's nothing very particular. You can study architecture. So I have a friend who is working with the housing and urban development department, and she's an architect, and so there's somebody who's there who's formerly working with L&T, and he's now working with PWD in Punjab. And so people from different walks of life keep coming. I mean, so our former lead governance policy, uh, this fellowship, he's an MBA from FMS. He's a former KPMG guy. So I mean, it's not that he was also a UPSC aspirant at some point. So
Mm-hmm.
it's education doesn't matter. It's your acumen basically. I mean, if you're interested, you're always welcome. And opportunities, as we discussed, there are multiple fellowships: Teach for India, Punjab Good Governance Fellowships. I mean, recently, Janagra is an organization. They launched a fellowship just for women in finance. I mean, great opportunity if you want to learn municipal finance, and people with commerce background, if they want to make their career in government finance, and particularly urban finance. So I mean, that could be a stepping stone. So I mean, there is Samagra, many organizations,
Right.
I would say, who are running different fellowships. One fellowship which I did is no more, but which was a brilliant initiative, was the Swasth Bharat Prerak's program of Tata Trust. I mean, we kind of made a big difference. And in that fellowship, the first cohort, we had like 55 people, and I think 45 of them were from various IIMs. So MBA grads were like choosing the social sector. Like
Mm.
most of my colleagues, somebody from IIM Raipur, Indore. I mean, I'm still in touch with a lot of people. Most, many are still working in the development sector. Many have ventured into corporate also. So it's pretty flexible to kind of get into the development sector, and there are ample opportunities.
So, in my understanding, you have been in this sector for quite a long period of time. So, in your career so far, have you seen this field evolving? And if so, so how open is it for new people to enter into the stream, and what all skills required would be my question to you now.
I mean, of course, it has definitely evolved over time, and there are various organizations recently which have come up, and NGOs, and where people can go and work. So ample opportunities, and for anybody to kind of come in and work. Basic skills, I would say that you should have good communication skills. I mean, even if you don't have good communication skills, this, I mean, some skill which is relevant for the field. So if you're a good writer, if you're a good manager, if if your analysis skills are great, I mean, there is something for everybody, in the development sector. So it just, you have to find the kind of role that suits you.
All right. So, if there's one thing you could change about public policy and governance education space in India, what would it be?
I mean, I would be happy to go and study at IIM Ahmedabad if they were offering a course in, in governance and public policy, like a regular MBA sort of.
Mhm.
I mean, even now today, if I'm doing a regular MBA, and
Mm.
if I'm studying public policy, the kind of remuneration you get is, very different. So
Right,
something like that.
right. That's a good point that you made over remunerations.
Yeah.
Any resources that folks interested in this space should follow? Any books, podcast, individual institutions, blogs, anything that you must have also followed or you would like to recommend?
So I'm an avid reader of the newspaper.
Mm.
So it's all about, keeping yourself updated about what's happening and who's doing what. I mean, resources, Niti Aayog publishes a lot of
Right.
best practices reports,
Yeah.
white papers. So, they do a PM awards kind of a thing also. So, where in different districts and different departments apply for awards for various initiatives. So, that's something which is very interesting at the end of the year, to figure out that
Mm.
who did what innovation in which field. So I mean, that's something which you can always read. And I mean, if you're following the news, and if you're following the editorials and the newspaper, I think it's more than enough. I mean, I am probably old school, so I don't do a lot of uh, a lot of blog reading or things like that, but I'm sure there are various good resources on the internet as well.
Right. Right. So my last question for our talk would be any piece of advice for those looking to build career in this you would like to give?
Somebody who's new and wanting to step into this field, I would say that uh, you know do your research before you come in, because at times the expectations are different, then you struggle.
Mm.
Working in the corporate is very different from working in the government. You're struggling at times to get a file cleared from a clerk, and you're like, why is this not doing it? And I mean, I'm sure you would have also kind of faced certain problems like this. And
Like
red tapeism, as we
red tape,
say, is
चिड़िया
yeah.
मिठाई
So
बोलते हैं.
yeah, it's always there, no? So
Right.
shifting from corporate to the government is a big change for people initially. I mean, after a while you get used to this, but at first you keep struggling also.
Mm.
Plus, I mean, the kind of professionalism is still not there as we see in the corporates. Things are very systematic. Here things are very haphazard.
You're right.
So but the thrill is there. The opportunity to make an impact is there. So
Right.
pros and cons are always there.
Right. I mean, you touch millions' life through this
Exactly.
government route
Yeah.
and public policy stream.
Yeah.
So I guess that would be all from our side. And thank you so much for squeezing in uh, me for this talk in your busy schedule. Thank you so
Most
much.
welcome.
Looking forward for more collaborations. Have a good day.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Thank you. You too. Thanks.